What is going on, guys? And this is a very important video. Now today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the physical aspect of basic training and how to actually prepare for it. So I'll go a little bit about basic training, but mostly this video is for all you guys who've asked me about preparing for basic training physically. And this is kind of a specialty area for me. And it's not overly complicated, but the big thing is you got to do this stuff if you want to make your life easier in the military. So first off, right off the bat, I'm going to talk about a little bit of what you do physically at basic training, and then how to prepare, doing like push-ups, the sit-ups, and the run, because those are the real big things that you need to get ready for, is doing the PT test, as well as not being exhausted and dead with all the cardio and walking around and stuff you're doing, and then the front lean arrest that you got to be in all the time, and all the push-ups and stuff you have to do, trying to help you understand what you kind of should do in order to prepare for that. So first off, at basic training, a big misconception that a lot of people have, because a lot of people that are prior service that like to tell people stories about the military. They always tell them the most hardcore thing, like, oh, we got smoked for like 6 hours doing push-ups and blah blah blah. We did like 5,000 push-ups that day, and whatever the case may be. If somebody's told you some story like that and they made it seem like that was like an everyday thing, they lied. They they were not entirely true with their story, and it's really not like that. Throughout basic training, you're gonna have a handful, like less than 5 really difficult smokings where you're just like you feel like you're gonna die. Other than that, you do a lot of push-ups, you do run everywhere, and those are the two real big things. Also planks. So you run, I've covered this before, but if you don't know, you run 3 days a week for PT, and you do muscle failure 2 days a week. And muscle failure basically is push-ups, sit-ups, and pull-ups. And then running days, you do 30-60s and 61-20s, which is run or sprint for 30 seconds as fast as you can, and then walk for a minute, as well as sprint for 60 seconds and walk for 2 minutes or 120 seconds. So that's kind of the things you do for PT, in addition to the preparation drill and the different conditioning drills and stuff like that. So running, I want to cover running real quick. Running at basic training is, in my opinion, the biggest thing. If I had to tell somebody what they should focus on, like upper body, their core, or running, I would definitely say running, because you run everywhere, you walk everywhere, and not just that, you run and walk with gear on. So let's say you go out right now and you do a little jog, and you got your t-shirt on, or since it's almost summertime, you don't have a t-shirt on if you're a guy, and if you're a girl, hopefully you have a t-shirt on. But yeah, so you go running and you just got a t-shirt, shorts, and just regular old shoes on, right? And you're like, well, I just did a mile run, that's really easy. And then you join the military, and then you realize that you have to run with boots on a lot of times. You have to run in your actual full-on AC or OCP uniform. You got to run with a whole bunch of gear, or with your Kevlar on, and all that extra weight is like an extra 20 to 30 pounds really in total. Sometimes you have to run. So I mean, that's not an everyday thing, having to run a mile with 30 pounds, but a lot of times you do have to run with the extra 15 to 20 pounds that's going to be on your body extra than what you would do just if you went outside and ran, regularly on the civilian side. So that's a big thing. And what I recommend for getting ready for basic training is doing one of, or two of these three things. The third one's optional if you really want to be all hua. But the first thing is you need to get off your butt and go run, right? So if you leave, a lot of you guys are leaving this month, which, good luck to you guys. But if you're leaving this month or in the next couple months and you haven't ran in the past week, 2 weeks, like, you're setting yourself up for failure here. Like, you're just gonna, I don't know what your mindset is. A lot of people think that, oh, I don't need to work out now, the basic training is gonna get me in shape. That's the totally wrong attitude. You do not need to think like that. You need to think, I need to be in the best shape as I can going into basic training so that I can concentrate on other things besides, oh my gosh, my muscles are killing me. Because I don't even know how many people, like, their muscles were just dead after the first couple of days because they didn't exercise, they didn't do push-ups, they didn't do all this stuff before basic training. And for me, I did, I'll talk about what I did before or in a little bit, but I did a lot of stuff before basic training, so I wasn't really that sore or as exhausted physically as these other people. But getting into running, so one of the things you need to do is some 30-60s of your own. So at whatever I don't know, physical level you're at right now, you need to get outside and you need to go run. First thing you need to do is you need to do a 2-mile assessment of yourself. It doesn't matter if, like, yesterday was leg day for you and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't want to run, my legs are sore. Or even if you're like, oh, I haven't ran in 6 months. You need to go out there, go to like your local high school or something, or if you have a Fitbit, just measure, you know, a 2-mile run and go out there and just run 2 miles as best as you can. And then also you need to look at what the minimum passing time is for your age group and your gender. So male or female, and most of you guys are probably going to be in the like 18 to 21 or 17 to 21 age bracket. I'll be 24 in a couple of days actually, so I'm in the 22 to I think it's 27 age bracket. So for example, the max for me for the run is 13 minutes, which is the same for the age group below me, but above me it's a little bit slower. So you need to know what you need to do to pass, and if you're like me, you want to know what you need to do to make 100 or a 300 on the PT test. You go out there, you do your 2-mile run, and you need to look at yourself and think, you know, am I in the kind of shape that I should be in to go to basic training? And if your run time is above that 13 minutes, then you need to do some running and preparing before basic training. If you're running an 11 flat freaking 2-mile run, odds are you're already doing some running, but I mean 11 minutes is ridiculously fast. My fastest 2-mile run is 11:43, which is ridiculously fast. But anyways, so you need to see where you're at. The next thing you need to do, in addition to running the 2-mile assessment, I guess every week you should do that, you need to do your own 30-60s, or I really recommend 61-20s, which is just sprinting for a minute and walking for 2 minutes. If you go to a high school track, a quarter-mile track, and let's say for me, whenever I sprint for a minute, it's around about 1 lap, right? Now, if you do 8 of these, you're going to get about a 2-mile run in, and it'll take, you know, somewhere around 30 minutes to do. So you need to do that, and then if you really want to set yourself up for success, you need to do what I do sometimes, especially if I know like a ruck march or something is coming up, or I got something real difficult coming up like I have in about a month now, is I'll run with a weighted vest. You can get these like at Walmart, you can get them online at Amazon or whatever, but you get a weighted vest with 10 to 20 pounds and you put that on. For me, mine's a little bit wide around the side, so I actually use a belt, and I tie the belt around like my mid-stomach area, and I keep it tight so it's not bouncing up and down when I'm running. But if you do that, you will really, really be helping yourself whenever you have to run with boots on and you have to run with all of your gear on and stuff like that, and you'll be more accustomed to running with an extra 10 to 15 to 20 pounds on your body than these other people that are just running, you know, with no weight whatsoever, like just shorts on if you're a guy and, you know, shoes or whatever. So that's a couple things that you really need to do if you want to excel in the running aspect of basic training. Now, the other big thing is push-ups, and that is, you just kind of have to do them. Now, I do have a technique that I've used in order to easily max out the push-ups since the very beginning of basic training. There's 3 parts to it, right? So if you want to max out on your push-ups, you need to one, be fast. So you can't be just doing slow push-ups. You need to actually be doing fast push-ups. You need to also, once you get to the point of near failure, muscle failure for your push-ups, you need to be able to crank out those couple extra push-ups that may push you over to the edge. So for me, I got to get 75 push-ups on my PT test. I normally get around 90 plus. I got a PT test coming up this weekend. I'm hoping to reach 100 push-ups in 2 minutes. So also in addition to that, the push-ups that they're grading you on, you have to have your head facing forward. So not if your eyes are looking at the ground when you're doing push-ups, they're not going to count that. You have to be looking forward with your head up, or your head looking forward, and that is the only way they will count your push-ups. I remember my first PT test at basic, I did the first like 6 push-ups, literally like first 6 push-ups real fast. I was looking down at the ground like how I used to normally do it, and the drill sergeant was like 1 1 1 1, and then he was telling me lift my head up 1 1, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then anyways, I did it. So I got like 76 push-ups on that, but then he like didn't count like 6 of them, so I got like something like 80 on my first PT test for push-ups. So that's a big thing you gotta do. Now the technique that I use in order to really help myself with push-ups is number 1, I assess myself periodically every week, every 2 weeks or whatever. You do number 1. One thing I do is I do as many push-ups as I possibly can in a minute, and I time that and I keep track of it. I also do as many push-ups as I can in 2 minutes, which is a PT test for your push-ups. And then the thing that I use to improve that, which that improves it in itself, just by doing push-ups you're going to improve. But to really focus on speed and cranking out the extra couple push-ups, you need to do this little, I guess you call it circuit training exercise, which is you do some diamond push-ups. You do diamond push-ups, which are like this. So you got your hands together like this, and you go down and touch your chest. If you can't touch your chest, go down as far as you can without collapsing, and then go back up. So do as many of those as you can, and wait 30 seconds. And then once you've waited 30 seconds of doing as many diamond push-ups as you can, you do close grip push-ups. So a little bit inside, if you look at me, a little bit inside of shoulder width, and you do as many push-ups as you can with close grip push-ups. And then you want to go as, I can't even really stretch my arms out, but you want to go as wide as you can. So you want to do wide grip push-ups as many as you can after waiting the 30 seconds, right? So now once you finish that set, those 3 sets of push-ups, you want to wait a minute, you want to rest for a minute, and then you want to do it again, right? So then you want to do diamond push-ups, close grip push-ups, wide. Then you want to rest another minute and repeat the same thing. So you're going to do it 3 times. You're going to do this sequence of 3 different variations of push-ups for 3 sets, and that is going to extremely help you guys out. If you've only got like two weeks to prepare for a PT test, if you do this every single day or every other day, depending on what you're doing or what your skill level is at, you're really gonna help your PT score like just shoot through the roof. I mean, if you could do 50 push-ups or 40 push-ups or 30 push-ups, like, you're gonna increase it by 20. Now for me, whenever I'm in the 90s range, in order to break 100, I've been kind of busting my butt recently for my next PT test, trying to break 100 push-ups. And again, these are actual push-ups. I think I said it before, but I may not have. But when you're at basic training and when you're in the military, you really need to lock out your push-up and you need to go all the way down. They are very, very strict at this, especially at basic training. Especially if you get a really strict grader. A lot of times my chest would be basically touching the ground, and they would tell me to go lower. And a lot of times one time I remember, this happens periodically, they say, lock out your elbows. One time I was literally told, and I was sitting in the front lean rest position during the push-ups, right? And they told me to lock out my elbows. I was literally sitting there with them locked out, and I was like, they are locked out, and they didn't count it. So, I mean, it's really, really ridiculous at basic training sometimes, depending on the grader you get. Like, it's just straight up annoying. Whenever you're practicing, you need to really focus on doing a full extension. Go up all the way and go down all the way when you're doing your push-ups, so that your muscles are used to that type of push-up whenever you get there. So that you're not used to doing a certain type of push-up, maybe not extending all the way, and then they tell you to do that and your muscles are just like, what the heck is going on? And then you get like 10 to 15 less push-ups because of that. So that's one really good way to, or a couple of ways to increase your push-ups and how to prepare. The next thing is sit-ups and abs, your core, right? One big thing, all right, there's 2 times you really use your abs at basic training. One is the PT test when you do your 2 minutes of sit-ups. The other is the countless front leaning rest positions that you're in, and for I don't even know how long, 10, 20, 30 minutes that you got to be in it, where you get in trouble. The drill sergeants put you in front leaning rest position, which is the upright position of a push-up, and they just talk and yell at you, and you're just sitting there for I don't even know how long, and your freaking abs are tired and all this stuff. So that happens every day. If you're not in the front leaning rest position at least a couple times a day, like you probably had the greatest day ever at basic training. So that is huge. So something I really recommend for you guys, if you're not doing it already, is doing planks every single day. In addition to your normal workout, your normal other exercises, the running and the push-ups and the sit-ups you're going to do, you need to do planks every single day. You need to start out at a minute, start out at 30 seconds, whatever you're at, start there, and over time you need to increase that time. And honestly, instead of doing the planks on your elbows that a lot of people do, where you're doing a plank but you're resting on your elbows, since you guys are leaving, or 99% of you guys are watching this, some of you guys are probably thinking about joining the military, but 99% of you guys that are watching this are probably going to be leaving for basic training. At least that's what I gather from the comment section. And you really need to practice doing planks with your arms extended, exactly how you're going to be doing it at basic training. I personally practiced planks before I left, like the normal way on your elbows, and I really think it would help me a lot more to practice on my hands, because it also works your shoulders and some other muscles that you weren't using whenever you're resting on your elbows, because it's a bone. You're really not, like, there's not a joint here having to hold yourself up. So you really need to focus on planks. Now the other aspect of abs is the sit-ups. The big thing about sit-ups is a lot of people get tired in their hip flexors whenever they're doing sit-ups, and then that really affects you during your run. So let's say you do the PT test and you do your push-ups, then you do your sit-ups, and after you do your sit-ups, you're like, man, my hips feel really tight. They're really tired because you're doing your sit-ups, you were using your legs a lot. So number one, you need to work on stretching out your hip flexors so they don't get so tight. Number two is you need to actually do sit-ups, because that'll help you out a lot, because sit-ups, I think, is a horrible way to test core strength, because number one, people's bodies are differently, and I fall into the category of my body does not like sit-ups, and I still do them, and I'll still max out on the PT test, but I didn't originally. Sit-ups was the reason I did not get a 300 on my PT score at basic for the first couple PT tests, because I was at like 70 sit-ups. I got to do 80 sit-ups in 2 minutes, and I didn't really do sit-ups before basic training because I thought, oh, my core is really strong. Like, I have a strong core. I was very close before basic training to do a human flag. If you don't know what a human flag is, look it up. I got some other cool things that I can do, which is like a human flag on a pull-up bar, which I lift my feet straight up. So I got a really strong core, but my sit-ups sucked because I never did them. And my hip flexors were really tired. My legs would get tired, almost more so than my abs would, right? You're doing sit-ups. Why are my legs getting more tired than my abs? Some people use their abs more. Some people use their legs more. But for me, I think it's just because I never did them before that my legs were so tired. Now, my legs don't get tired when I do sit-ups. But anyways, I don't want to ramble on like I tend to do sometimes. But doing sit-ups, in my opinion, the best way to get good at sit-ups is to just do sit-ups. Now, you can work your obliques, you can do different things, you can do Mason twists and stuff like that, but you really want to do things that are going to help with the movement of doing a sit-up. So you want to work a little bit of your lower abs, and you want to do crunches. A lot of people are like, oh, don't do crunches, they're so bad for you. so full of crap, because sitting on a couch and doing nothing is worse for you than getting up and actually doing crunches. Anyways, because I could talk about that for forever. But anyways, so you need to do sit-ups, and you need to do other workouts and stuff that will help with the sit-up. Now you can Google that on your own. The video is already like 20 minutes long right now, so I will spare y'all my rambling and talking about, and personal trainerness, talking about, you know, different sit-up exercises. But you need to do sit-ups. That is very, very key to improving your sit-ups. Now, also, you need to do push-ups. That is really key to doing push-ups. And you need to run. That is really key to being able to run well, right? So, the one thing I haven't talked about, or the two things I haven't talked about left, is how often you should do this, and what I did to prepare for basic training. Like, what I actually did. This is my hindsight. Like, I've already gone to basic training and all this stuff, and I'm helping you guys out with, I'm trying my best to help you guys prepare, right? So, how often should you do this? Now, first off, you shouldn't, if you haven't ran in 6 months, or you haven't even got up and gone out for a walk in 6 months or something like that, which is people that have done, that are like that. Some of you right now are probably like that. You have not gone outside and put on your running shoes in God knows how long. So depending on where you start, wherever that 2 mile assessment is, if you're in the 13 to 16 minute range, I would recommend running 3 to 4 times a week to start. If you're doing a 20-minute 2 mile, or even longer than that, some of you guys are gonna be doing like 30-minute 2 miles, like because you fall into that category probably of, I have never ran in my entire life. That's not bad, but I mean, you will improve. When you go to base training, there was people that literally did run 30-minute 2 miles, and they would improve and passed, and they did a 16-minute 2 mile at the end. But depending on where you're at, will kind of dictate how many times a week you work out, right? And again, if you're in that 20-minute range, you probably should run 2 to 3 times a week, because you are going to be sore and all that stuff. Now, as far as push-ups and sit-ups go, both of those, I put those together, and planks every day. Push-ups and sit-ups, I think you should do that a bare minimum of every other day, right? So you should do a couple hundred. You should start by doing 1 to 200 push-ups in a session, and you need to shoot for 200 to 300 push-ups for the entire day, right? So whenever I say 300 push-ups for the day, I'm not saying in one session of 20 minutes doing 300 push-ups. I'm saying throughout the day, if you got spare time, just drop and do 25 push-ups, right? Drop and do 10 push-ups. Do this periodically throughout the day. Keep track of it until you hit that goal that you have for yourself. And you will see, whenever you do your 1 minute assessment of yourself, when you do that 2 minute assessment of yourself, that it will slowly be going up because you're doing this, right? So you need to be doing push-ups and sit-ups at a minimum of every day. I do them basically 6 days a week, right? 6 out of 7 days a week, I will do my number 300-400 push-ups, sit-ups a day. And on the rest day, I might do like 50, right? So just so I can keep my muscles going. So that's that. And I think I've covered everything except for what I did. Now, what did I do before basic training to prepare? Now, I've told you guys my run time at basic training. I got an 11:43 2 mile, which is about a 5:50-ish 1 mile pace. So I did the first mile probably at like 5:40, and then the second mile I probably did it at like 6 minutes or something like that, or 6:03. So that's my time. And then my push-ups, I think at basic I never got into the 90s, but I think I got like 86 push-ups. And then my sit-ups, I never hit the 80 mark, which is my max, and I got I think I actually got 78. Yeah, I think I got 78. So I got very, very close. And I contribute my failure to not getting 80 to just not doing sit-ups before I left for basic training. Now I can max the push-ups and max the sit-ups. The run is the thing that I have to work on now, because since I'm out of the training environment and I'm not running as hard as I used to, I really got to push myself to get out and run and really push yourself. So I've been doing that. My run time now is I'm shooting for probably getting around a 12:50 on my run this weekend for the PT test. So my extended scale PT score will probably be around 320, 325, which is pretty good. It's still not up to my ambitions of what I want, but that's me. So what I did before basic training to get to that level at basic training was, number one, I had a goal. I didn't meet this goal every time, but I had a goal of running 4 miles a day. Now, how I would do that was not just one big 4-mile run. I would do usually a 2-mile run, just kind of a jog, and then I would run before and after my actual gym workout 1 to 2 times, or 1 mile or 2 miles. So that's kind of what I did. I probably averaged a 3-mile a day before basic training, but I had a goal of 4. Push-ups and sit-ups, sit-ups I didn't do. My push-ups goal was about 300 to 400 push-ups a day. You're probably not going to be able to do that right off the bat. You're probably going to just start with 100 and do that in a session, then do that for a couple of days, and then you'll bump it up to 200. But I did about 300 to 400, usually 400 push-ups a day, and I also did a lot of pull-ups every day. So I did around 300 pull-ups a day. So I really, really like pull-ups. I just love how you're lifting up your whole body, and it's just really cool, and a lot of people can't do them, so that's one of the reasons I like doing that, and I can do muscle ups and all this other stuff. So this video has gone on super long, and if any of you guys are sticking around and y'all have seen this, please leave a comment down below like, hey, I stuck around till the end or something like that, because number one, this is a really important video. A lot of you guys are honestly not fully prepared physically. You're really not doing that much, and also you don't really know what to do exactly, because you don't know exactly what's going to happen. You don't know if push-ups is the only thing you're going to do, or if you don't know, what kind of running you should do to get ready. Hopefully I covered everything that you guys need in this video. The running and the push-ups, the sit-ups and the planks, so that you guys will be prepared for whenever you leave. For some of you, whenever you leave in the next week, in the next 2 weeks, in the next month, and for some even a little bit farther than that, and you should consider yourself lucky because you have more time to prepare. Don't use that, oh, I leave in 3 months, as I'll get ready in 2 months. Get ready now so that life is easier, because if you are in shape at basic training, life is just simply easier. You're not exhausted. You're not just straight up dead. The first day, literally the first couple of days, people are dying and complaining, oh, my chest is so sore, I'm just hurting, my feet hurt because they didn't run, my abs are killing me. They're just all dead because they didn't properly prepare physically for basic training. So take my advice, don't take my advice. That is what I think, and that is my advice on how you guys should prepare for basic training physically. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Again, comment down below if you stuck to the end, because I'm really curious if you did, because this is a long video. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.